Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting of the Brighton Town Board. I'm Bill Maley, Brighton Town Supervisor. Thank you all for being here. They have really made us welcome here at our new temporary home at 680 West Fall Road. I would note, though, that the Brighton Memorial Library, the Brighton Court, and the Brighton Police Department are still located at 2300 Elmwood Avenue, our town hall. And our Parks and Rec departments remain at the former Brookside School on Winton Road. We're here, of course, because we are embarking on a major renovation project at Brighton Town Hall, replacing our HVAC system, which is very, very much obsolete. It's as old as the building. We're replacing it with a sustainable geothermal system that will provide a whole lot more, not only creature comfort, but building health and safety, as well as be a very sustainable solution that is appropriate for these times. So while that progress is going on, we're going to be here at Empire State University. We will be starting our open forum in just a moment. The open forum, of course, is that portion of the meeting when members of the public can address the board. But first, we will start with a pledge to the flag. I will ask Councilmember Werner to lead us. Rise if you're able. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Chris. As we have for many years, we make our town board meetings accessible to the deaf and hard of hearing community with ASL interpreters. This afternoon, Jennifer Jess is our ASL interpreter. Thank you very much, Jennifer. Just as an aside, I met Jennifer still this year, I guess, early this year at the Lunar New Year celebration that was held at Monroe Community College. It was an absolutely extraordinary, wonderful day. It'll be coming up again in February, and I encourage everybody who's available to go out and be a part of that great event. So in any event, again, we will begin the meeting with the open forum. As we do at every town board meeting, the open forum is an opportunity for members of the public to address the board concerning any matter relating to the town, whether or not it is an item on our agenda. If you would like to speak during the open forum and you are here in person, please raise your hand. When I call on you, please come up to the podium to speak. If you are participating in the meeting remotely, and you would like to speak during the open forum, you must first join the meeting on Zoom. And there are detailed instructions for doing so on the town's webpage, www.townofbrighton.org. If you do that, you'll be admitted from the Zoom waiting room by the host to speak. And if you do want to speak, just please use the Zoom raised hand function. I ask all speakers during the open forum, whether in person or remote, to please state your name and address before speaking. Please limit your remarks to 3 minutes, and I will give you a 30-second warning before your time expires. If you have questions, we may not be able to answer them right here on the spot, particularly if your question relates to a matter that is not on today's agenda. But our goal today and always during our open forum is to give you an opportunity to share your thoughts with the board and for us to be able to listen thoughtfully to your words. So please direct your remarks during the open forum to the town board and not to the room or to other speakers. Please refrain from personal attacks and from outbursts of any kind, including applause, boos, or other similar disruption during the open forum, out of respect for the other speakers and for the time of everybody today. Also, out of respect for others in the room who may have issues seeing around signs, we do not allow signs to be displayed during town board meetings, including during the open forum. People who do not follow these rules will be warned. Repeated failure to follow these rules or failure to follow other directions from the chair may result in your speaking privileges being ended early, being directed to leave the meeting, or the early termination of the open forum. We have no, I see no one here in the room with their hand raised. Is there anybody on the Zoom broadcast that would like to speak during the open forum? I would note that Councilmember Corrado, who is out of town visiting family for the holidays, is on our Zoom meeting. Christine will not be able to participate or vote during the meeting, but she is here. And I will note, also have a statement from her relating to the complete street policy item that is on the agenda later. And I will read that, and it will be included as part of the record of that item. But if Christine would like to speak during the open forum, you may do so, but I don't see anyone else. And it doesn't appear that Christine is raising her hand or unmuting. So we will continue on. We have no public hearings today. Chris, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Yes, Bill. I move that we approve the agenda.
Second.
And is that item from Christine, I think that has been added to the record for the Complete Streets matter. So that's included in this agenda. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Salzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. We have one item of communication today, communication from Jeffrey R. Smith, who is the President and Chief Compliance Officer for Municipal Systems in Leroy, relating to rulemaking, Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board Rule G10. Nate, can you move to receive and file that item?
Bill, I move that we receive and file the communication.
Second.
And that communication simply describes the Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board and some information for clients. We are a client of Municipal Solutions, Inc., and this is simply advising us of the protections available to maintain a fair and efficient municipal securities market from the SEC and from the Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board. We have a motion which has been seconded to receive and file that matter. Any further further discussion, rather, concerning that item of communication? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Salzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. We'll move then to committee reports. Normally, our first report is the Community Services report. Councilmember Wilt is running a little bit late today. She will be here. What I'm going to suggest is that her report be simply included in the record, and we will move to Finance and Administrative Services. Nate?
Great. Bill, the Finance and Administrative Services Committee last met on December 18th. Most of what we discussed is on today's agenda, but one item I'll highlight here is an item to enter into an agreement with Electronic Field Productions that provides the cablecast for these meetings, and I want to thank them for helping us in the town of Brighton provide that accessibility to everybody. And, I see you in the back there, the unsung heroes of these meetings. And,
Thank you, Steve Del Monte and
Yep.
team.
Yes. And I will tell you, I've heard from many constituents who go, oh, I saw you on YouTube the other day. And I go, well, which meeting? And that's because they're all available online thanks to your hard work. So, maybe you could auto-tune my voice to sound a little bit better, but we could work on that in this next contract. That's one item I wanted to highlight and to thank you very much. And our next meeting will be on January 1 at 8:30 a.m. right here. Did I get that right?
No, the Finance Committee will not be meeting on New Year's Day.
We will not be meeting on New Year's Day.
I mean, you can meet by yourself.
January 2nd. Well, I'll be here. No, I'm joking. I won't be here. January 2nd at 8:30 a.m.
Thank you, Nate. Public Safety, Chris.
Thanks, Bill. I reported on our December meeting at our last town board meeting, and we've not had another meeting since. We have our meetings the second Tuesday of each month, which will put our next meeting at January 14th at 8:00 a.m.
Thank you, Chris. And Public Works, which Councilmember Corrado chairs. Again, we will simply read any materials into the record, but I know the Public Works Committee has also not, or have they met since our last?
No, they've not. We have
Meeting.
them on the
Okay,
same
right,
second Tuesday of the
right.
month. The next would be also January 14th.
January 14th.
To follow on after the public safety meeting, approximately 9:00.
Good. Then moving on to new business, reading and approval of claims. Nate?
Yes, not earlier today, but earlier on Saturday, I reviewed the claims totaling $874,228.69. Some notable claims include a payment to Bob Johnson Ford for a payment for a 2024 Ford F-350 for the sewer department, and a payment to Monroe County Director of Finance, a payment for 2024 pavement markings within the town. The claims all appear to be in order, and I move for them to be approved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Salzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. Nate?
Yes. The next matter seeks to approve a budget amendment to increase the Information Technology Department's computer equipment account in an amount totaling $36,500 from increases in interest earnings for the purchase of computers and monitors. I move that the motion be approved as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
This is an item, as you'll see described in the communication, for police and highway department computer equipment to be purchased here before the end of the year. Earl, anything you want to add to that? I know we've got interest income because we budgeted conservatively and interest rates stayed higher this year than we budgeted.
Yeah, and I think also on the listing are some items for the rest of the general accounts that go under the IT department.
Right.
So all three of those things together.
Right. Good. Any questions? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Salzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. Chris?
This is Municipal Solutions, is
Yep.
that correct? Bill, the next item is to authorize the supervisor to enter into an agreement with Municipal Solutions for services related to filing financial disclosures in an amount not to exceed $235 per filing. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second.
I referenced Municipal Solutions a moment ago. These are ongoing services that Municipal Solutions provides to us, whether or not we anticipate issuing specific bonds in a given year. I do expect that we will be doing some of that in this coming year, bond anticipation notes at least as they relate to our town hall renovation project, but these are simply routine filings that they make under the SEC rules. Further discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Salzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. Nate, you mentioned this earlier. I'll let you take the next one.
Great. Bill, the next matter seeks to authorize the supervisor to enter into an agreement with Electronic Field Productions for cablecast and video production services for a 2-year term from January 1, 2025 through December 31st, 2026, in an amount not to exceed $52,000 per annum. I move that this motion be approved as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second, but on condition you can put a little more color in my hair. Just kidding.
Both of these items sound like change orders. I don't think it's likely that the full town board is going to approve either auto-tuning your voice or coloring your hair. So we are who we are. We have a motion and a second again to continue our contractual arrangement with EFP. And as mentioned earlier, Steve Del Monte, principal of that group, is here in the room. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Werner.
Aye.
Councilmember Salzman.
Aye.
Supervisor Mailer.
Aye. Chris?
Next item is to declare as junk certain fixed asset items in the Information Technology Department for disposal. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second.
I don't know what some of these are, but they are old as 1990 in one case. And our IT director, Jeremy Lutz, recommends that they be
I see
disposed.
Jeremy nodding his head.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Werner.
Aye.
Councilmember Salzman.
Aye.
Supervisor Mailer.
Aye. Nate?
The next matter seeks to adopt the Town of Brighton Complete Streets Policy. I move that we approve this motion as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
And as I mentioned earlier, we do have this additional item of communication from Councilmember Corrado, who has been very much a part of the development and advocacy of for our Complete Street Policy resolution. And because she can't be here, she has submitted this statement. It is part of the record. So I'm going to read it into the record. It's dated today's date. It's actually dated December 29th. It's a statement in support of the Complete Streets Policy Resolution. Hello, Councilmember Wilt.
Hello.
She says, although I cannot be present at the final town board meeting of 2024, at which my board colleagues will consider the adoption of a complete streets policy for the town, I support this resolution as a significant step on the path towards safer, more equitable, and accessible transportation infrastructure for all members of our community. Our suburban streets, by and large, have been developed with the needs of drivers prioritized at the expense of all other users, especially the most vulnerable, including children, the elderly, and the disabled. A complete street is one that is designed and built to meet the needs of everyone, whether walking, biking, driving, or using public transportation. By adopting this resolution, we are on our way to ensuring that our streets are not only safe, but welcoming for people of all ages and abilities. From less fragmented sidewalk and bike lane networks to improved crosswalks and public transit access, the adoption and implementation of this policy aims to eliminate barriers and foster a healthier, less car-dependent, more connected community. As we continue to work to address traffic safety, environmental sustainability, accessibility, and public health, this Complete Streets policy is a critical component in meeting the Bike Walk Brighton 2012 Active Transportation Plan and Envision Brighton 2028 Comprehensive Plan's goals of making our town even more livable and resilient. Complete streets support active transportation while reducing our carbon footprint, thereby enhancing the quality of life for today's residents and visitors, and, most importantly, future generations who will choose to make Brighton their home. This resolution also underscores Brighton's commitment to equity. By prioritizing the incorporation of complete streets design in our transportation infrastructure, we support the right of every person, regardless of income or background, to access the wealth of Brighton's amenities via safe, efficient transportation options throughout town. With the adoption of this policy, we are removing barriers and building a more just and inclusive town. As chair of the town's Public Works Committee and a longtime advocate for safe streets for all, I appreciate the thoughtful deliberation among committee members and staff about the importance of formalizing the community's need for safe and accessible streets for people of all ages and abilities in an official policy. I thank the attorney to the town and a Public Works Department staff for their professional expertise in drafting a policy that frames the town's official status on the value of active transportation and incorporating complete street elements throughout Brighton. I note, however, that this policy is but one component of an overarching process which requires the town of Brighton to establish strong, clear, and codified mandates for applying best practices in complete street design and construction to both public and private projects, as well as delineating a means for quantifiable measurement of the progress toward fulfilling the community's demand for complete streets as described in our community source, active transportation and land use plans, Bike Walk Brighton 2012 and Envision Brighton 2028. With the adoption of this complete streets policy, we formalize our commitment to the importance of building and improving a transportation infrastructure that serves all in our community. I encourage my colleagues to join me in supporting this complete streets policy resolution and to commit to working together to take the necessary next steps in strengthening our code and process to create a town that is safer, more sustainable, and accessible for everyone. And again, that is a statement from Councilmember Corrado, which is part of the record on this item. We do have a motion from Councilmember Salzman and seconded by Councilmember Warner to approve the policy. Is there any further discussion on the attorney to the town?
Thank you, Supervisor. I would just like to suggest a minor amendment to the resolution, the first paragraph, to also reflect the correspondence from Town Council Member Corrado in support of the policy also be received and filed.
Good. And Nate, is that?
Yes.
You'll accept that as a friendly amendment?
Yes, I will.
Chris?
Yes.
Good. We will do that. Is there any further comment on this resolution?
I would just like to say this is the culmination of a lot of work among staff members and the attorney to the town. Thank you so much for all of that hard work. This resolution and the complete streets policy does put us on a path towards greater equity, accessibility, and sustainability within the community. And I think as we make infrastructure decisions in the future, this will be a beacon and a template by which we can assess those decisions. And I hope that we do keep this center focused as we make infrastructure decisions coming up.
Thank you, Robin. You know, it's this is something that we have we have taken very seriously. Obviously, as the old saying goes, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And we have been planning for an active transportation-based policy consistent with complete streets. And we've been walking the talk, whether it's the crosswalks that even on a cold day in December, an additional one was added on Clover Street, thanks to resident input that we received from the Houston Barnard neighborhood, whether it reflected in our grant application, which was successfully submitted for about $900,000 in grant money for additional sidewalks on county streets. The list goes on. These are all things that we have done to continue to be a complete street-driven community. I will say, and it's in here, that transit policy is also an important part of that. And I'm calling on RTS. We're going to be meeting, but RTS needs to do better in serving the town of Brighton. RTS needs to be a part of a countywide complete street system so that folks in this community can better access some of the largest employers in town who are right on our doorstep, like the U of R Medical Center, and yet today have very limited opportunities for doing so. So let's together, work together to continue to implement this policy. And yes, one more step, we'll be taking action today. Any further comments? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Salzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. Robin, next item.
Certainly. The next matter seeks to approve a budget amendment to increase the Parks Department's maintenance equipment account in an amount totaling $21,600 from increases in interest earnings for the purchase of a mower, tiller, and sod cutter. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
And this one, again, speaks for itself. It's an opportunity to purchase this equipment, which the rec department needs. It will enable them to do their job more effectively. And again, a function of conservative budgeting on interest earnings for the year. We have monies available from that interest earnings account to fund these purchases. Earl, anything else you want to add to that?
No, I think that's it.
All right. We have a motion seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Salzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. And Robin, I'll let you do the next one, too.
Certainly. The next matter seeks to authorize the supervisor to extend a contract with Bureau Architecture, PLLC, for preparation of cultural resource surveys, Nunc Pro Tunc, through December 31, 2024, at no additional cost. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the attorney to the town.
Second.
This will extend the existing contract, which had a 30-month term, but actually expired earlier in the year. And there will be a new contract for cultural resource surveys for 2025. Is that going to be on our January 8th agenda or the second one in January?
I think it probably will be the second.
Okay, good. We have a motion. It's been seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Salzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. That's all the old business matters of the supervisor. Real quick, magically, the snow disappeared here in the last couple days. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jim, but our crews are still out. They're still picking up leaves. And they've also, I think, have they begun the process of picking up Christmas trees?
I haven't heard about Christmas trees yet.
But they will be.
I think the leaves are essentially picked up. They had been tapering off before we had the Christmas snow, if you want to call it that.
But they will be picking up Christmas trees, as we do every year. And I would ask, one, natural Christmas trees, of course. You know, you get these plastic things where they wrap the Christmas tree in them. We can't pick up the Christmas tree if it's wrapped in one of those. So please don't use that. Put your tree out by the street, not in the street, of course, on the grass. If you have a tree lawn between your sidewalk and the street, put it there. Otherwise, right on the grass by the street. Remove any tinsel or ornaments. Obviously, remove the tree stand. And we will be coming around to pick them up. I want to again make note of the upcoming townwide property reassessment. The basis for that reassessment, the reason the reassessment is so important is that in levying property taxes against the value of your home is supposed to be valued at its fair market value. In other words, the value that unrelated buyer and seller who are both willing, voluntarily entering into the deal, would place on the house. Now, as we all know, property values, real estate values in Brighton, but throughout the Rochester area in particular, have soared since the last time we did a townwide revaluation in 2018. And that has led us to do another revaluation, which will be completed in 2025. It's a revaluation of all real property in town, both residential and commercial properties. So in late January or early February, homeowners will be receiving a tentative updated valuation of their home. And almost certainly, that new tentative assessed value will reflect a significant increase in your current assessed home valuation. And I can't stress enough that the fact that your assessed valuation goes up does not mean that your property taxes are going up by that amount or really by any amount. What it means is that your home's, your property's assessed valuation, like that of your neighbors, is being increased to 100% of its fair market value. Now, during the revaluation process, all property owners will actually have 3 opportunities, formal and informal opportunities, to appeal their assessment, all with the goal of having every property in town valued at 100% of its fair market value. If you look closely at your tax bill, you'll see an equalization ratio. This past year, it was 0.65. The goal is for that to go back to 1.0. In other words, 100% of your fair market value is your assessed value. You're going to have questions, and that's fine. We encourage that. Feel free at this point to call the town assessor's office. Janine Whitaker is our town assessor, and the assessor's office number is 784-5215. Again, the town assessor's office number, 784-5215. That's all I have. Matters of the attorney to the town. I know we have some matters for executive session, several.
Yes, thank you, Supervisor. Nothing new to report, but I would like to address the 8 items for executive session. 5 matters leading to the appointment of particular persons, 1 matter leading to the potential discipline of a particular person, 1 matter involving pending litigation, Town of Brighton versus Icon Energy, and 1 matter involving collective bargaining negotiations under Article 14 of the Civil Service Law.
Thank you. We will do that. Matters of the town clerk.
Just a reminder, everybody, tax collection begins tomorrow. We don't have the amounts yet, but I expect we will have all that available to us tomorrow. So come on in starting then, and we'll see you and take care of things. Collection is largely the same as it has been. We'll have
Except that it's at a
Dropbox.
different spot.
Well, that's the largely, not, that's why it's not completely the same. Mail is unchanged, drop boxes are unchanged. Just if you want to pay in person, come here to 680 Westfall, and we'll be helping you here instead of the Elmwood address. The one note with the drop boxes is before the school cycle, just a good reminder that ahead of the construction, we did relocate that box. So it's at the front of the police department at door number 2, as opposed to the past where it was in the back of the building. So right on Elmwood, door number 2, the main entrance to the police station, can't miss it.
Thank you, Dan. Matters of the town board, Robin, we did anticipate that we would simply include your report as well as Christine's report of your committees as part of the minutes and the record of today's meeting. But any board members with anything else?
Well, I was just going to add, the menorah lighting ceremony on what was it, Sunday night went very well, and I wanted to thank the chief and his officers who ensured everybody's safety. And I wanted to compliment you on your pronunciation of Hanukkah Sameach with the proper amount of ch. And I was standing in the crowd, and people said, he must be Jewish. And I said, yeah, I think there's some Jewish blood in there. So I wanted to say Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody.
Thank you, Nate. Yes, Hanukkah Sameach.
You got it.
And Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa, yes.
Happy New
Thank
Year.
You. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yes. That's the danger of starting to list holidays.
Exactly. All of the wonderful, wonderful holidays of this time of year. If there's nothing else, let me thank our interpreter again. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. It is a very important part of how we are as open and transparent as we can be. As John indicated, we do have a motion. We need to go into executive session. Can I have a motion to go into?
I move that we go into executive session to discuss 5 matters leading to the appointment of particular people, 1 matter leading to potential discipline, 1 matter pending 1 matter involving pending litigation in the matter of Town of Brighton versus Icon Energy, and 1 matter involving collective bargaining negotiations under Article 14 of the Civil Service Law.
And that's your motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Werner.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt.
Aye.
Councilmember Salzman.
Aye.
Supervisor Maley.
Aye. I do not anticipate coming back out into public session after the org meeting. Our next town board meeting will be our annual organizational meeting, which will be held on Thursday, January 2nd, 2025, at noon here in this room. Our next regular town board meeting will be Wednesday night, January 8th at 7 p.m., again, here in this room at Empire State University, our temporary home, 680 Westfall Road. Again, thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, everybody. And we'll now go into executive session.